Well, hello and welcome back to Musing on the Move. Now, you can tell by looking and listening that I'm not on the bike this time, I'm in the car. And I'm on the way to one of my favourite photo locations, which is Talacre Beach, or Point of Air, I think its official name is, because there's a disused lighthouse there, and it makes it really photogenic. So I'm hoping to get maybe some time-lapse footage there, and if I'm really fortunate and the wind drops down just a little bit, I might even get some drone shots as well, which would be fantastic. And it is a beautiful day. The sun, actually I must be honest, the sun was a bit more visible when I set off on this journey than it is right now, but still we've got patches of blue sky, we've got some cloud, but it's white and fluffy, it's dry, it's not super hot, maybe 8, 9, 10 degrees, but it's a lovely spring day, and you just really got that sense that spring is about to pounce on us, and I love that time of year. You can even see a few daffodils in some of the hedgerows that we've been driving by. But anyway, since I'm going to be in the car for a while, I thought I'd pick up on where we left off in the last vlog, where we were talking about heaven and how the defining feature of heaven is the presence of God the Father there, and how exciting it will be to have unfettered access to him. And it gets even better than that, to be honest, because it's not just that we can be somewhat close to God the Father, but our home is going to be right there where he is. So in John chapter 14, verses 2 and 3, we see Jesus talking to his disciples on the eve of his crucifixion. So this is his last chance to make things clear, to say anything that hasn't been said but needs to be said. So it's an important conversation, so it's probably fair to assume that whatever he says in this conversation is particularly significant. And one of the things that he starts to talk to them about is the idea of being at home in heaven. He says to them that in his Father's house there are many rooms. Now, some translations of the Bible say mansions, and that's caused all kinds of speculation, but the Greek word used there actually is just the basic word for where you live. So there are many dwelling places, shall we say, in God the Father's house. And then Jesus says, I am going ahead to prepare a place for you. And if it wasn't true, why would I say this to you? Well, in other words, he's emphasizing you can trust this. And he said, and if I am going to prepare a place for you, then it follows that I'm also going to come back and take you there myself. So Jesus is going ahead specifically to prepare a place for you and me in his Father's house. Now, in the ancient Middle East, a wealthy head of a family would often build additional rooms on his house so that his children could live literally right next to him. And that's the picture that Jesus is painting of the preparation of many, many rooms or places to live in God the Father's house. Now, I really like this idea of preparation. Jesus is going to get something ready for you and me, prepared specifically for you and me. Now, my daughters, they don't live with me all the time, but they visit regularly. And when they're about to visit, I have a sense of expectation, and it makes me want to prepare for their visit. So I make sure that the house is welcoming when they get there. I make sure that we've got the right kind of food in the fridge. We plan the kind of things that they like to do, because preparing for their visit is one part of me loving them as a father. But that urge in me is derived from God the Father's own nature. So it's exactly the same with him. So Jesus is preparing a place specifically for me. Now, to be really honest with you, I'm kind of hoping that when I get there, mine will be absolutely stuffed with all kinds of technology. But maybe when we get up there, we'll find that the things that are important to us down here don't really matter. So I'm not going to stipulate, because I know whatever he prepares for me is going to be fantastic. And whatever he prepares for you is going to be fantastic. Now, later on in 2 Corinthians 5, verses 5 to 8, the Apostle Paul is talking about the same thing. And he's talking about the juxtaposition of either being at home in the body but absent from the Lord, or at home with the Lord and absent from the body. And it's the way he phrases that that really sticks in my mind. He says, look, it's a choice. While we're down here, we're at home in our body. And that's right, because we need to use our body to help build God's kingdom and to help serve his purposes and help be the hands and feet of Jesus to the people around us in our community. And that's a joy and a privilege, and I want to do that to the best of my ability. But when the time comes, when my job here is done, and when God ordains that it's right for me to depart this earth and head for heaven, at that point, I am going to be at home with the Lord. And that to me is a fantastic idea. That appeals to me, that draws me. I want to be at home with the Lord. And I think that means that much as I love this earth and I enjoy being on it and I appreciate its splendor and the beauty of creation and the ability to do things for and with the Lord, when I walk through the gates of heaven and I'm shown to the place that Jesus has prepared for me, I know that I'm going to feel totally familiar with it. It's going to feel like I've come home after a long journey. There's going to be no sense of unease or unfamiliarity or anxiety or alienation. It's just going to feel like, I'm home. And that is a wonderful thought. That can motivate us through a lot, because we know that great as it is down here, the best is yet to come.